Hello and welcome to another Tools for the Time Crunch Manager webinar. Today, you can see on the screen below, this is what we're going to tackle. 3 ways to bring more fun to your work when fun means more creativity, more impact, more meaning, and a good life. Useful, I know. Look, if you don't know who I am, I'm Michael Bungay Stanier, Senior Partner and Founder here at Box of Crayons. At Box of Crayons, we say we help people and organizations do less good work and more great work. We do a bunch of stuff, but where you might want to go right away is to join our LinkedIn group. It's designed just for people like you. Tools for the Time Crunch Manager. Do a little search on LinkedIn, you'll find it. It's a great community, lots of information and conversation about how, as a manager and a leader, can you have more impact and work less hard. That's what we're all about here. But okay, let's get on with things. Let's go straight to a great webinar. I'm going to start this webinar as I start all of my webinars by asking you a question, so those of you who are regulars know exactly what's coming up. The question is this: how focused do you plan to be? And I want you to give yourself a score between 1 and 7. 1 is low, 7 is high. So 1 looks like this. I've got as many distractions going as possible, and I plan to use these 10 minutes of webinar as pleasant background noise while Michael yabbers on and I get some real work done. 7, on the other hand, means I've created what I can to create a 10-minute sanctuary. You know, no distractions. I put my phone away. I put my paperwork away. I'm really bringing myself full attention to really extract the most from this webinar. Now, I don't mind what number you give yourself. Choice is yours. But what I would say is, whatever adjustments you need to make to the environment so you're fully present or present the way you want to be, why not do that now? Okay, so some of you may have seen the short little YouTube video that I put out recently, earlier this month. And what it does is it looks at the 3 surprising characteristics of what it takes to have more fun. And here are the 3 characteristics. You need chaos, you need curiosity, and you need discipline. Now, we're going to get into curiosity and discipline in other webinars and other forms. I want us to focus on chaos. And by chaos, I'm not really talking about the character from the Warhammer series, although that is a pretty impressive character you got there on your screen. I'm talking about a kind of more subtle chaos, if you like, a bit like the Robert Frost poem, The Road Less Traveled. You know, letting in the unknown, the unexpected, the unplanned for into your life. And really, I want to talk about 3 ways. 3 useful ways that you can deliberately shift things up so you get more of that for the sake of more fun, more creativity, more impact. So let's start with number 1. And number 1 is about looking at parameters. And I was inspired by this by Jack White. You probably know Jack White, kind of the creator and mind behind the White Stripes, a fantastic band and really a real source of inspiration and creativity and productivity. And Jack White says, telling yourself you have all the time in the world, all the colors in the palette, that just kills creativity. And of course, White Stripes, you can see it in the picture here, were famous for having just a red, white, and black palette and everything that they did. So my approach to creating parameters is what I would call the halve the test. And what do I mean by the halve the test? Well, as you think about what you're working on right now, your great work project, if you like, what if you halved some of these things as a way of driving more focus, more creativity, more impact? If you halved the time you had to work on this, if you halved the space you were working in, right down to the size of your desk, if you like, if you halved the number of words that you're allowed to use, if you halved the number of people on the team or the people involved, halved the amount of respect you are hungry for, the budget you have, the expectations or the outcome you're expecting. What I hope you notice is by limiting stuff, you actually create more focus and more freedom to have more impact. So that's the first one, parameters. The second one is about purloining. And of course, purloining is just a fancy word for nicking stuff, stealing stuff. And in some ways, this reminds me of what Tom Peters said about the problem about the not invented here syndrome. It should be replaced with the stolen with glee syndrome. So I'm really curious to know what you can steal. And, you know, here's one of my most famous quotes: originality is undetected plagiarism. And of course, and this is my attempt at a joke, when I say it's my most famous quote, actually, of course, it's the quote of this guy on the right, William Ralph Inger. He's the guy who actually said that. But I'm not telling you that. I'm pretending that it's original. I know it's a complicated joke. Anyway, where do you steal from? That's a good question. Here's where I would suggest, as you think about pursuing additional input, stuff that you can take and build into whatever you're working from, there's all sorts of places that you can look for inspiration. Here some of them are. You can steal from your heroes. You can steal from your boss. What is she doing? What is she up to? You can look at your competition. Competition can be external. It could be within your organization as well. What are they doing that you might be able to borrow, adapt, steal, use in some way? Look at the TV, not just ads, although those can be interesting. What is your favorite programs doing? And what can you steal about their form, their content, their structure, their approach, their lighting, whatever it is? Artists, a fantastic resource of creativity that you could look at and go, why don't we take that? Why don't we use that? Outdoors. Now, outdoors, I'm not saying you have to go out camping or straight out into the wilderness and battle bears and stuff. It could be just to walk up your street, looking around going, I've got this problem. What do I see here that I could take, use, adapt, bring into the work that I do? And of course, science, another place of inspiration. So that's number 2. What can you purloin? What can you steal to bring inspiration, creativity, more fun into the work that you do? Let's talk about number 3 now. Really important, the sense of place. Not just the sense of place, but really, where are you doing your work? And I love this quote from Churchill. We shape our buildings, thereafter they shape us. And I think that the impact of our environment goes really unnoticed and can be so impactful in terms of how we work. And so the challenge I really want to put to you is what I would call the leave and find the challenge. And what do I mean by that? I mean, I want you to get out of the normal place you do your work, your office, your chair, your desk, wherever it is for you. I want you to go and find some different contexts to work and get inspired. What do I mean by different contexts? Well, here's a list. Go find the quiet, the real quiet. Go find the noise. Go find the stillness. Go find the movement. Go find interaction. Go find aloneness. Or if it just comes down to it, go find coffee. But as soon as you start shifting up the place in which you work, then you'll have more impact. You can see this in just my little office here. I've actually got one desk here for one type of work. You can probably see behind me another desk I use for my more creative, what I would call my great work. So we've got 3 different factors that you can bring in to get more fun, more creativity, more inspiration, more impact in the work that you're doing. Shifting the parameters, use the halve the test. Purloining, steal good stuff and see what if you can fold it into the work you're doing. And the impact of place. You know, where are you working and how can you shift that so that things change in the way you think about and approach the work that you're doing. Now, don't leave without writing down what are the 2 key insights and the 1 action you're going to take as a result of this. I know it's only a 10-minute webinar, but squeeze value from it. If you don't commit to insight and action, you're going to forget all of this. So what do you want to remember and what are you going to do about it? Now, if you want to learn more about Box of Crayons, come and check out our programs in particular. Our main sweet spot, our sweet spot is practical coaching skills for the time-crunched manager. We've got 3 or 4 great programs. You can check them out on our website, boxofcrayons.biz. And if you haven't already done this, do come and join our LinkedIn group, Tools for the Time Crunch Manager. Great community, great resources. We'd love to have you part of that.